Happy Sunday, everybody. What is going on? Welcome to the 95 North Sports Machine, man, on tap this afternoon, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this wonderful Sunday afternoon, wherever you're at. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, rocking out with us, man, and we truly, truly appreciate it. We got some special guests in the building, JC, and young man at the bottom, Mr. ATL himself from the Four Quarters Podcast, man. Welcome, man. Thank you guys for tuning in and joining in on this Sunday afternoon, man. We're talking some Falcons football, man. Fellas, we are less than 24 hours away from the legal tampering period that is labeled as NFL free agency, or the beginning of it, man. Starts tomorrow at noon time. All signees cannot be made official until 3:59 Wednesday afternoon. But needless to say, man, the wait is over. We will soon find out who will be under center and who will be on the roster, for the Atlanta Falcons. So, gentlemen, what is going on? I'll start off with and Mr. ATL. Fellas, how you guys been, man? It's been a while.
Been doing great, man. How about yourself, man?
Man, everything's wonderful, man. It has been a while, man. Glad to link back up with you guys, man. JC, what's going on, man?
Going on. Hey, glad to be on, talking some Falcons football, talking NFL in general. I always love being on with you guys, watching you guys. So glad to be on.
Appreciate it. Chris Smitty, what's going on, man?
Yo, it's about that time, y'all. You already know. Free agency. I'm ready. I know you ready. We're getting closer. I know people are getting kind of scratching their arm like what these Falcons about to do. Something about to happen, man. Hey, man, something's about to happen. It's no choice. Legal tampering at noon tomorrow, just like Berto just indicated. We are in that season, y'all. So let's buckle in, man. It's gonna be a ride. Let's see what's happening.
Absolutely.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Time to go full throttle, man. Look at 2024. And trust me, we've been dropping videos and everything the last 2-3 weeks. So we've been setting y'all up to get to this point. So guess what? We're gonna kick it into high gear. Starting today, right now, all the way up until the season starts. So y'all just stay tuned, man, because we got some special plan for y'all.
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
Side note, Chris Tipmore is a fan of daylight savings time. I'm just saying.
He a lie. I ain't gonna lie. He a lie.
Chris, he was jumping for joy. But yes, man. So let's jump right into it, man. There's a lot of free agents on tap, coming up, man. But the Falcons have been linked to one particular name, and it's at the cornerback position, man. L'Jarius Sneed of the Kansas City Chiefs, man, is said to be made available. Was tagged, or if I'm not mistaken, the non-exclusive tag, allowing him to negotiate with the teams and have Kansas City, get some compensation for him. We currently have on tap, man, AJ Terrell, a guy that's pending, pending the bag, so to say, with the Falcons re-signing him, but acquiring L'Jarius Sneed. What are you guys' thoughts on that? And are you surprised that the Falcons are throwing their name in the cornerback market? We'll start off with JC. What do you got? What do you say about that, brother?
I'm not surprised because the defensive head coach coming over, and Raheem, especially with the secondary, he wants to get guys in that he can play. L'Jarius is a tone setter, even at the cornerback position. He can kind of play that star position that Jalen Ramsey played for them. AJ is a tone setter as well at the cornerback position, so you gotta pay. Me and AG kind of talked about it though. I don't know how much money you want to put into the secondary, because that's like $20 million right there with L'Jarius, maybe another 18, 20 with AJ, and then Jesse Bates already getting paid like, I don't know, 16 to 20 million. So it'll be a lot of money in the defense.
$40 million.
You got to pay to play. So it's on them what they want to do. I'm not opposed to the move.
Mr. AG, what's going on? What you got?
Well, I think that the name definitely does bring a lot of hype behind it, and his stats are proven. So he's locked down key receivers, number ones on other teams before. Um, we respect that, but at the same time, it's like kind of like how we said, like, do you really want to invest that money into the defense on the defensive side? Should you? Yes, only because we've seen that cornerback two position over the years be the reason why AJ is seeming like he's not doing his job because everybody else is getting the flat. Um, but AJ Terrell has been a keystone for the defensive secondary since he's came in. So adding a solid piece that will lock down another side of the field, it would only force the ball inside to all your playmakers that's on the inside of the ball, basically. So I think it'll be a good move.
Good move. Yeah, indeed, man. Indeed, man. What a way to give Jimmy Lake and company, a gift for that secondary. Really having two shutdown corners and allowing him to get real creative. Well, and how he wants to deploy any of his blitzes, any of his coverage looks and stuff like that. Having two guys that can shut down just one entire section of the field. So, Chris, you want to add on to anything as far as the L'Jarius Sneed situation in Atlanta?
I mean, it's a good corner. Good corner. He's been with Kansas City his entire career, so he's been in one system his entire career. Spagnuolo, I mean, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit, but Kansas City was right to, lock him back up. So I think he's a good corner. Bringing him in, I'm worried about the money. I don't know if I want to bring him in on 20 mil and then, send that kind of message to the Falcons locker room about just bringing a guy in like that. And then because AJ going to be looking for at least 20, 22, somewhere in that area. I really believe I don't want to lock up about 40 mil into my corner position if I don't have to. I think you should just, fish around a little bit. It's other corners in the market that can also do a great job in the scheme. At guys that played in the scheme before, a guy like I mentioned before, Darius Williams, somebody who won't cost as much as a L'Jarius Sneed. You could possibly bring him in, save a little bit of the money, but L'Jarius Sneed is a good name. I'm not opposed to it, but there are other options that the Falcons can go and still improve this defense.
Facts. I actually have no problem with it. I think, like Chris said, excellent point. I think it sends a bad message to the locker room because you have a guy, AJ Terrell, who's coming up for a deal and he's on his 5th year. And what kind of message would you send if you pay somebody coming on the outside? However, you can't argue. L'Jarius Sneed has put up better numbers interception-wise than AJ Terrell. And I think L'Jarius was a 4th-round pick. So it would send a bad message, but at the same time, you can't deny the skill, can't deny the talent. And at the end of the day, it's all about winning. And the NFL is actually a business. And to be honest, like I've said in this draft, cornerback is deep. So if you wanted to move on from AJ Terrell to try to see what you can get for him and sign L'Jarius Sneed, hey, it could work. But at the end of the day, it's all about how you're going to structure your team and how you're going to market the team and which players are you going to pay more than others. Because like I told y'all with Grady Jarrett, and this is why I said, and I hope they don't trade him, but this is also why I said you can see Grady Jarrett traded or released or brought back on a lesser deal. But at the end of the day, it's about building team and keeping that cap, out of cap here. So Jerry Sneed would be a good fit, but you got to wonder about the contract, the compensation, and all that stuff. So we'll see how it play out because I think it's coming in the next couple of days.
Hey, man, I'll tell you a guy I would like, though. Give me Justin Simmons if we're just talking about that secondary. Man, give me Justin Simmons and pair him with Jesse Bates. Now, his market value is about 11 mil. He may get a little bit more than that. And honestly, if you look at his numbers last season, I mean, it wasn't bad. It was compared to a L'Jarius Sneed as well as too. I know Sneed has the championship, but we're talking about an all-pro and pro bowler in Mr. Simmons. And you can bring him over. He had 53 solo tackles. He had a sack, 2 forced fumbles with a fumble recovery, and 3 interceptions in his own right. So that's just another guy that you can add, lock up that secondary in the back and make it a little bit easier on whoever you bring in for that cornerback 2 position. Or if you do move on for AJ, like Smitty was saying, and go get one of these guys out of this deep cornerback draft this year. It's just options, guys. You know, we're just talking options.
Definitely, man. Before we go any further, man, we always gotta shout out the chat, man. Thank them for being here today, joining the stream and dropping their comments and stuff like that. We would definitely appreciate it. So, Tremaine Alston is in the building. Ty $4.96. Travis Preston, Rishi Mahan, Buck Ray Bolts, Mactown Dirty, Sir Tavion, Douglas Farrington,
In here.
Dog, our brother Dwayne Ruffin Deep was happening. Mama Carmen Torres is in the building. James Edwards, funeral services. That's a creepy one.
Oh, my man.
Don't say what's up to me if you talking about a funeral that ain't ready to die.
Golly, man.
Hey, that's 100.
Yeah, man. Dexter Owens is in the building. John Brooks is in the house. Jay Diaz, what's happening, man?
Check out John on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Shout out to John Brooks, man. Always pushing everybody's content forward, man. And yeah, man. So definitely John Brooks on YouTube, man. Give him a shout out, like, subscribe, and comment on his daily stuff. Jay Diaz is in the building. Douglas Wallace. We Talk Hawks TV. What's going on, man?
Hey,
Glad to join us this afternoon, man. Appreciate you coming through. Who is in the house? Villa is in here. Thank you, guys. No, thank you for being here this afternoon. Anthony White is in the building. So the Falcons are going for the quarterback they want. I don't think money will be an issue. It's time to get this franchise on the winning track. Been losing long enough, man. Valid point, man. We all know what the quarterback situation was.
Before we move on, got a quick shout out, man.
Sure.
We Talk TV, man. We Talk Hawks TV, man. Y'all please go check him out on YouTube. Always putting out great Atlanta Hawks content. If y'all a basketball fan and y'all want to know the insides and the outside of Atlanta Hawks, go check out We Talk Hawks TV. My boy Demond doing his thing, man. So he always supports the sports machine. So I got to shout him out.
And he watches every single Hawks game. He's there every single time. You know, so I can vouch for him too. I've been on with him a few times myself. The guy, you know, diehard Hawks fan, and it doesn't even live in Atlanta. That's the crazy thing. So it's like we spread, man. We spread. Shout out to the G, man. Shout out to him.
That's crazy, man. So everybody gave their opinion on the L'Jarius Sneed situation, man. We're gonna move on. We're gonna jump into a couple other names that are being linked. You know, will the Falcons have interest in them? Two of them might. All three of them, we might. Who knows? Who knows? Are we buying or selling to this notion here? Would you rather acquire Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, or Deontay Johnson? Deontay Johnson's name has been rumored to be available by the Pittsburgh Steelers. We all saw.
That's a good question.
Jerry Jeudy, traded pretty much nothing. So how does that affect a guy like Deontay Johnson? And we all know what Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack has meant to the league. We do have a current defensive line coach, Jay Rodgers, that coached both of these gentlemen with the Chargers in his day when he was there. Now he's with Atlanta. Could Jay Rodgers put a hand into trying to soon the Falcons to throw their hat in for Joey Bosa or Khalil Mack? So let me get y'all guys' thoughts right quick. Are you buying or selling any one of these guys as a Falcons acquisition come tomorrow, let's just say? We'll start off with JC.
I mean, any of the three are possible. The defensive line connection is there, as you said, with the previous coach now here. But I think the quarterback domino got to fall first before anybody gets signed. If I which one I'd rather acquire? I mean, Bosa is the answer if he was to be healthy, just because of his age. But I'll say I could see Khalil Mack maybe as that veteran, kind of maybe the Dwight Freeney effect on the rest of the line. If we don't bring Calais back, maybe that would be the veteran. I mean, Deontay Johnson wouldn't be a bad option, but I don't know. It'll be depending on how much he want to get paid to me.
Yeah, he's in line.
I don't know if I want to invest that in him. I'm familiar with his game, but I don't know. He don't really just blow me away like that. I'd rather just draft a receiver.
Yeah. Understood on that, man. But Deontay Johnson is definitely a receiver that's done his work in the NFL. We have a current void at the number 2 spot, wide receiver spot. That is Deontay Johnson paired with Drake London could make things easier for slot receiver acquisition. That's a path the Falcons could take looking into the draft. Acquiring a guy like Deontay Johnson, I think, just opens up the offense a lot more. Now you have speed on the outside, and he's a true playmaker in his own right. So it would be another gadget for first year offensive coordinator Zach Robinson to go ahead and just go ahead and toy around with. We saw that he's not afraid to feed a rookie wide receiver by the name of Puka Nacua. You saw what he did last year, and we all seen what Cooper Kupp has done in the league thus far.
Right.
But inserting a Deontay Johnson could be there's no risk, just high reward in a trade acquisition for him. But ATL, what you got on that, man? AG, what you got?
So, I mean, I'm thinking win now mode. For everybody that's kind of wondering, like, what do the Falcons need to think? They need to think win now, because if you even though we're rebuilding and restructuring the key components of this team, you still need to be in the win now mode, because this team is thirsty for a playoff push, a playoff appearance. Like, the simple fact that we waited so long and seen how we've done business over the past year, as opposed to how we're doing business now. I mean, you would kind of wish like we would do the right thing this time. You know what I'm saying? We're back we've already reset the books on the money side. So it's not like we're worried about, okay, we really can't sign but 2 good players and the rest have to be undrafted free agents or something like that. You can actually put your checkbook right next to a star player and say, hey, we're willing to pay you this and you can bring your services. Out of the 3, I would think in order to either change or solidify your pick at 8, you add to the defense. You grab the Khalil Mack and you tell them, hey, we got guys in this locker room already that have been in here 2-3 years now, and all they need is just the key components of your pass rush, and we just need 5 to 6.5 sacks out of you, and that's it. You bolster your defense and the defensive line, and the pressure starts to, so to say, be more consistent than in the past years.
All right.
Okay. All right. What you got, A1?
Shoot, man. Well, I want to touch on something about Mr. Johnson. Now, Mr. Johnson in the league, I mean, he has done his work and everything, but he doesn't blow me away either. He's definitely a number 2 receiver. Definitely, he would never be my number 1. Never even think about that. But I will say this. He has similar stats to another guy in the league who has been in a similar situation, up and down quarterback. The system really not fitting, just rotations at the front office and everything. And I'm talking about Terry McLaurin. He has similar stats to Terry McLaurin. They both have 25 touchdowns. McLaurin just has more receiving yards, and that's understood. But everything else, Deontay Johnson. Johnson has it. He even has kick return and punt return experience if you want to bring him in and use him in that role as well. The thing about it is the Steelers are asking for good compensation. Now, I don't know what they expect good compensation is, but I have searched around to see what it may look like. And apparently they're looking for a high third rounder, and possibly another pick for Deontay Johnson. I don't want to do that because, first of all, we do have a high third round pick as far as being like the 74th, I believe, pick. So we have that in our back pocket. We may have to use that. We don't know what the Falcons are going to do at quarterback. And if they do have to move up in the draft, we may only have that third rounder to use to draft somebody or use as capital to try to move up. So it's different thing. I don't want to give up a third rounder for Johnson. That's basically my point. I don't want to have to do that. I may have to make other moves. And I'm sorry. This wide receiver draft is just too deep for me to even reach that high for a guy who's been slightly underachieving. He's not as good as he should have been with the Pittsburgh Steelers. because Terry McLaurin, yeah, I bet you if you put him on the Pittsburgh Steelers, I guarantee you he would have way more in his career than what he has had. So, it's just another way to think about it too, man. Similar stats to McLaurin, but switch the two receivers, I guarantee you they have two different careers. You probably wouldn't even know Johnson if he was on the command.
True. Okay. Yeah.
But, my bad. Give me Khalil Mack, though, if I had to take out any of the three. Sorry about it. I know I just read on about Johnson. Give me Khalil Mack if I had to take any of the three because
you good, bro. You good.
The experience, he's durable. Let's just be honest. Since Khalil Mack has been drafted, the Atlanta Falcons fans have wanted a Khalil Mack. And we have wanted the player or a player like him his entire career. The Sharks have to eat at least $15 million of that cap. I think you can get him for a superb deal because they have to get rid of him and Bosa to make some moves. Bosa, my concern, like JC was saying, he's ideal, but he's also injured. So your best ability is your availability. So I need guys who's going to be durable. I need guys who's going to be coming in. And even if you do take away those 6 sacks from Khalil Mack, he still got 11. Drop that into this Falcon defense. Thank you, please. I'm just saying, I want production. The guy's been productive and durable. Bring him in.
Gotcha.
Facts.
Gotcha. What you got, Smith?
I'm going Khalil Mack, and I'm going to stand by what I said earlier in the video I put out. You're looking at a guy who's going to get paid from Los Angeles if he gets cuts or traded because they're dead cap money. So you can bring him in probably for a little bit over 10 million, probably about 12. And that's a steal for a guy that makes $28 million a year. So you add him and it gives you a little bit of flexibility in the draft to go out and wait till the second, third round and go get another edge rusher. So Khalil Mack is probably the best addition if they can get him this offseason because we've been fiending for a pass rusher, 12 years? So I just think Khalil Mack is the most logical choice on defense. But you have to also remember with Joey Bosa, it's injuries. It's off the field issues, political issues, as we always say here. And Deontay Johnson, man, he's going to be another Juju Smith-Schuster if he comes to Atlanta. He wasn't that after Antonio Brown now. So
all valid points,
I say he's a true number 2. True number
2. Yeah, and if you want to trade for a guy like that, I say, go get Michael Gallup from the Cowboys, or like Chris
Brandon
said,
Cook.
The wide receiver draft. The wide receivers in this draft was super deep. You can get a guy like Keith Coleman probably in the 3rd round. My favorite player in this draft, the one that ran the 4.2140, who I told y'all about, is
Xavier Worthy.
Yeah,
you can probably trade up in the 2nd round and go get him. So I mean, it's too many options.
Bro, you can go get Ricky Pearsall and still go rock out.
Right. So I think edge rush is a bigger need. So out of these 3, I go Khalil Mack, 1 for the money. And you got to remember, at 32 years old, he had 17 and a half sacks last year. So I'm going after that point blank period. So.
Whoo, man. Okay, I'll stand on this, man. My guy is still Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky, man. That's the next Debo Samuel of this draft, man.
That's the Yak King.
The Yak King in all the essence, man. That guy with the ball is dangerous, and especially in space too. He's not afraid to drop the shoulder pads and run through you neither, man. So if you don't know who he is, pop in the tape, man. Go on YouTube, search him. Malachi Corley, Western Kentucky wide receiver, man. Good hands.
He would kill.
He's solid, and you can probably get him in that 3rd round. Falcons have 2 draft picks in the 3rd round, currently 74 and 79. So that might be the investment at that point. But gentlemen, we're gonna let's talk about now, and that's probably the show in its entirety, man. The ever so important quarterback position. Man, the Falcons need to get it right. And, Coach Raheem Morris, like he said, if the quarterback position was solid, he wouldn't be at the podium answering those questions. So with that said, man, here's some of the things that we're looking at, man. And this is as of this morning per Jeremy Fowler. And I'm going to bring it up here so you guys can go ahead and read it also. Let me take off this banner right here. Vikings not out of the Kirk Cousins situation. Baker Mayfield, I know that Atlanta's name has been thrown in that sweepstake, continues to talk with the Buccaneers. The marriage could be real between the Steelers and Russell Wilson, and the Bears are staying patient with Justin Fields. Fellas,
Stall them out.
which way did he go? Which way did he go? Which way do the Falcons go?
Where did you go, George?
Mhm.
That's kind of the thing now, man. Where do the Falcons go? You know, I had, and Smitty, you and I were talking about this. I had this theory, man. Atlanta could be playing behind the scenes, you know, this full deck of cards in with this quarterback position, just throwing in. Obviously, we know that we need a quarterback, but just having them linked to every quarterback allows them to see how competitive they need to be in this market, whether that be via a trade, up and down the draft board, or up the draft board, preferably, and what it's going to take to acquire a guy like Justin Fields. As we saw today, Matt Jones went for, what was it, Smitty, a sixth rounder?
Sixth round pick
To the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. What do you guys feel that's going to do for the Justin Fields situation? And we'll touch on the Kirk Cousins situation because that's probably the biggest one. But as of right now, how does that affect acquiring a guy like Justin Fields, seeing that the Jaguars just did business with the New England Patriots? JC, as our guest, and AG, you guys, the floor is yours. You guys dive into that as long as you need to, fellas. Go ahead.
I feel like Justin Fields' market was already kind of trash already anyway, but the Mac Jones thing did kind of make it worse. But it's funny that they say Bears staying patient. Like, no, you just don't have a choice because we're not gonna go get him if Kirk can come. Basically, they just waiting on a spot to trade him to this empty after everybody else already gets signed. So, I don't know. I guess the NFL GMs don't really value him like that. I guess the 3 years in Chicago have kind of tainted his image around the league. A lot of fans here want him. I'm not opposed to him, but does Terry Fontenot really have another if in him with this team? Because he already made it through Ritter. Have to try with Ritter. So and I'm not comparing Ritter to Justin Fields, but Justin Fields is an if. I mean, every quarterback is an if, but Justin Fields, you're trying to bet on potential. We don't have time to really bet on potential right now. Some people say we are still rebuilding, but you've been slow rebuilding for like 3 to 6 years now. You haven't made the playoffs since 2017. Arthur Blank is old as hell. He's not trying to keep through rebuilds. He's just not. He's not paying all this money for a stadium and not getting a return on investment. I mean, the soccer team, they won the championship, but he wants that American football championship. That's what he wants. You know, people say they're opposed to Kirk. I just don't understand that because the only thing that scares me with him is the injury. It's not the contract because you can structure the contract in a way where it doesn't hinder you to get other people. So if you do a little blind thing where you put the stats up, I guarantee you Kirk can go stat for stat with every quarterback in the league. He just doesn't have the playoff success. But guess what? Matthew Stafford didn't either before he went to the Rams.
Very good point.
Didn't either until he went on the run in 2016. And you can go on about quarterbacks that don't have the playoff success. So, I mean, Kirk can command the offense, in my opinion. Like, if you want to see what you got out of Kyle Pitts, you go get a Kirk Cousins because he's going to use him. Drake London, he's going to eat with Kirk Cousins. Justin Fields, I mean, theoretically, you think he'll eat. Him and DJ Moore did well this season, but it's an if. I don't know if Atlanta wants to bank on the if. And then Justin Fields isn't in his second year. You have to pay him coming up pretty soon. So I would go Kirk if I was them. Russ, I didn't even mention because I don't want that square.
Yeah.
You be nice, brother. You be nice.
AG, what you got?
Man,
Oh shit.
all I'm gonna say is everything that we thought was gonna happen at first and be so fast and be so quick that we was gonna have a quarterback like this, but it's like We have to play.
AG, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. If you may excuse me, let me bring this up right quick, man. Brian, if you got nothing right to say, man, you can get your dumb ass up out of here, man. We're just trying to have a good old conversation about the Falcons, man. If that's not how you feel, go to a Patriots podcast and speak your trash, man. Don't come through here speaking that negativity, man. Get the fuck up out of here, man. I hate that, man. Be respectful, man. That's all we ask for. Be respectful. Nobody in this panel goes on anybody others channel and talks crap sideways, whatever way you want to shift it about anybody else's team, man. It's all about respect, man. That's what it is, man. And it's going to continue to be on that 10 toes down, man. So you can get up out here with that crap, man. AG, my apologies, brother. Please go back onto it, man.
Man, with much due respect, man. I go to everybody in the chat, everybody that's on the
for real, man.
We all
respect each other,
man. Hey, you treat others how you want to be treated, man. But let's not worry about him. He just mad at they got rid of Mac Jones. So
that's 100.
The thing about us in this quarterback situation the whole time has been like it's a lot of wordplay going on. They say, okay, we're gonna get this guy. Okay, we're gonna get this guy. Okay, we're linked to this guy, but this guy, his wife lives here. Okay, cool. We've been looking at this guy since he's been drafted, but like we never know in the end of the day what the Falcons and Terry Fontenot and Arthur Blank really want to do with this franchise. Like their conversations behind closed doors are the most, prized information that the Falcons are holding right now. Like what they're doing behind closed doors as far as this quarterback situation is just what everybody on the outside of the world wants to know. But like we've been saying the whole time, the domino effect is not going to start until Justin Fields is either leaving Chicago or he's staying in Chicago and the first pick is traded or is kept. I can't really say and vouch I'm just for sure saying that we're going to go to the Super Bowl if we get Justin Fields. I'm not saying that because even in the first year as a quarterback, like in a new system, you still got to learn. It's a lot you have to learn. If there's no familiarity, like you have to start and wipe your plate completely off. And that's one thing that I think is hindering the Falcons from like getting him early and just making that move and just saying, hey, we're done. Let the dominoes fall in Minnesota and Kirk Cousins be on the market. A team that is at a lower draft pick that needs a quarterback is going to go ahead and go get him because they probably got the money or they can just throw the bag at him. If you play the long game and just be patient, like, hey, I guess they said great things come to those that wait. As long as we wait long enough, I think we'll get exactly what we need. I'm not saying we can't win with Justin. We can win with Justin, probably go playoffs maybe, but it just depends on the way that he comes in and his mentality. Like, yeah, you're coming back home, but you can come home and stink up the place.
Go ahead, JC. Go ahead, bro.
I just wanted to chip back in. For little things, I think the trade up is everybody's ideal option, but you have to have two people to trade. Like Chicago has basically already fanboyed over Caleb Williams. They're not trading. Washington, they're not trading. New England, after they traded Matt Jones, they're not trading. So that's one thing. So I think that option is kind of off the table. Two, like AG said, the media, like the players and the agents use the media to push a narrative out there because with tampering and all that, you can't say directly. But I'm going to push it out to the media. Oh, Kirk will go to Atlanta if you don't pay him. Like that's sometimes teams do use other teams as leverage in the media. But I definitely think when the rumor comes out, it does have some type of truth to it, especially when you keep seeing it over and over and over. And then the comment, Kirk would not sell tickets. I mean, the Falcons don't sell tickets already as it is anyway. And is Justin Fields that much of a draw to where everybody's going to go to the game? I don't believe that. But I tell you what will sell tickets if Kirk Cousins start off 4-2, that'll sell tickets because everybody wants a winning product. They don't sell tickets because they don't win. The quarterback, it don't matter the color if he white, black, brown, yellow. If he can play and they can win games, people are gonna go to the games. And just because we draft Kirk doesn't mean we sign Kirk. It doesn't mean that you can't draft somebody to sit behind him. I think people get stuck in like if you do one thing, you can't do another. Like theoretically, they should draft somebody if they sign Kirk if they were smart because they should have drafted somebody when we had Matt. So you kind of have a chance to redo that decision. So if you sign Kirk, you can draft somebody to sit behind him for 2 years,
There you go.
and learn behind him. And that way you don't miss a beat when Kirk retires or he goes off to try to get another guaranteed contract or whatever he decides to do. So that's the long-term success right there. Make the playoffs with Kirk, get a playoff culture. I think people kind of undersell the playoff culture. You definitely want to have Drake London make the playoffs. You want to have your young players make the playoffs. I think as a player, you'd rather make the playoffs than go home every year after the regular season. The experience definitely does count for something.
You definitely, that experience, playoff experience is unmatched.
That was very, very, very well said, ladies and gentlemen. This is JC. This is ATL, man. AG. Four Quarters Podcast, bringing that fire, man. As you guys come in through the platform, man, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button, man. Smitty Sports Machine, Chris Tip, who are at A1 Forever in the Four Quarters Podcast. Also, your boy Berto, your host of 95 North Falcons Talk Show, man. We all try to put as much work as we possibly can to deliver the best content possible, man. But definitely, chiming in a little bit more on this quarterback situation that's ever so important. And with tomorrow, all lines are open for communication, man. There's also another rumor that came out regarding Kirk Cousins, and that's the contract situation, man. Something that probably could scare Atlanta off, as Atlanta's been rumored to be budgeting in free agency. So the current rumor for a Kirk Cousins contract is 3 years, $118 million. Giving that quarterback $39.5 million. I know that the Achilles injury is going to be brought to light, and that's very valid. Sure, the man's coming off a major injury, but what you cannot take away from Kirk Cousins is the stats that he was putting before he got hurt. This man was going to be unanimously probably the MVP of the league. The stats were there. The completion percentage was there. Touchdown to interception ratio was out of this world. And for the past 5 seasons, he's been in the top 5 of every statistical category in regards to the quarterback position. Now, as JC was mentioning, going the Kirk Cousins route really should not affect what the Falcons do in the draft. They can move up and down the board. They can go up as high as number 5, maybe. And with New England now, like you mentioned, trading for Mac Jones, that 1, 2, and 3 could be quarterbacks. Who knows? Somebody in that top 3 could throw a wrench. Who knows? Weird things have happened in the NFL. But if it allows the door to be open for Jaden Daniels acquisition, and he's there at 5, the Chargers could very well trade with the Falcons, have the Falcons jump up and grab a Jaden Daniels. There's many ways that the Falcons can really elevate that quarterback room based off whatever signings that they got going on this week. So, Chris, what do you feel is the best route for the Atlanta Falcons in this quarterback position, man?
Well, to finish off the whole thing with Justin Fields, just real quick about the Mac Jones thing. Yeah, it definitely did not help the whole situation for Chicago, and they may be forced to do one of 2 things. They may have to wait for the dust to settle between Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson to see what happens, to see what's available, because everyone knows you want Caleb Williams. So we're not going to just give you what you want for a quarterback you're trying to get rid of. It just makes no sense. So with that market, man, you could possibly see Justin Fields go for a 7-rounder. I mean, it's just bad. It's just that bad. So that's just an option. Like, I don't know how Falcon fans would feel about that. The fact that his price is going even lower. So the risk is even lower if you wanted Justin Fields. But now Kirk Cousins, my thing is, now I have pros and cons as far as for Kirk Cousins. I mean, cons, we already know he's not a long-term solution. We already know that. But at the same time, well, no, before that's another one. That's one thing. But we also know the Achilles. Will it hold up? We seen what happened to Aaron Rodgers. It looked pretty routine, but then next thing you know, his Achilles is gone. We just had a guy who's coming off an Achilles, and we just want to see if it's going to hold up. And also we're talking about pros. Now, pros, like Berto was saying, he's legitimate. We're talking about a guy who was completing almost 70% of his completions and having a low interception to touchdown ratio. The man had 18-5 before he went down. Possibly an MVP type season. Would also be one of the best quarterbacks that the Falcons have had in franchise history. I'm sorry, he would be, just because of his stats and his numbers and what we've had at quarterback in our history as a franchise. That's another thing you got to think about too. He could possibly end the playoff drought. We haven't been to the playoffs in almost 7 years. Well, over 7 years now. So it's pros and cons to the player. It's just, are you willing to invest over at least 25 million of your cap space into this, and also willing to move up and down the board to try to get some of these rookies in here to fill out the rest of the roster, because you can forget about free agency when you bring in Kirk Cousins. That's one thing about it. So are you content with that? Are you cool with that eating up most of your cap space to bring in other guys like a Bryce Huff, like a Josh Uche, like a Javon Kinlaw, and et cetera and et cetera? So it's a lot of different ways that the Falcons. This is what makes it exciting too, y'all. That it's so many different ways that the Falcons can go. Me personally, you already know I'm always going to be team young guy. It's just that price. I got to be real about that price. It could cost us a lot more than we think to possibly pry that number 2 pick from Washington, because I don't see the Patriots moving it now. I mean, it was already scarce before, and after moving Mac Jones, you can already say, man, they definitely getting a quarterback. So we have to hope that something that Smitty said before about Marvin Harrison possibly throwing off the whole quarterback situation, and maybe we are able to get that scenario to where we move up with the Chargers. Because I'm nervous about the Giants, and I don't want to take the risk of the Giants if the quarterbacks do slide, that they end up getting Jaden Daniels, because that'll be a slap in the face to me. So that's the quarterback I'm going for, Jaden Daniels. I'm team young guy. If you move up for anybody, that's the quarterback you move up for. Other than that, then I don't know what you're doing. You might as well just go ahead and get Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields and everything. It's like, it's time to start kind of making some moves because the time running out. You notice we're not mentioning Russell Wilson, and that's because, the guy, we don't even know if he even wants to meet with the Falcons. You have to have 2 to tango and a draft and to make a deal for interest. He may not even be interested in coming down here. Sierra might have already said no. He might have already said no to Sierra. We don't even know. But what we do know is he doesn't have a meeting set up with the Falcons. He's trying to meet with other teams. So he may not even be an option. He may not want us as much as people are saying, go get Russell. He may not want us, so that's another thing you got to think about too. Just more scenarios, guys, more scenarios. This is a fun talk. We're around the water cooler today, y'all.
Gotcha. What you got, Smitty?
I'm going to take y'all down memory lane right quick. I got to just tell y'all this, man, because y'all know I try to be logical with everything.
Right.
I know Kirk Cousins, 36 years old. That's true. And I know he's coming off injury. But let's go back to 1997 when the Atlanta Falcons brought in a quarterback named Chris Chandler. Their very first season, Pro Bowl season, and the numbers weren't gaudy at all. 2,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 59 completion percentage. A year later, or a year after that, Super Bowl season, 13-1 as a starting quarterback, 25 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Again, only 3,000 yards, and his completion percentage was 58.1, so it went down a whole percent. But I say that to say this. Sometimes you just need a quarterback that fits the system and that can be that game manager. The strength of that team was the defense. It was the pass rush. You had guys like Ray Buchanan. You had guys like Eugene Robinson, Chuck Smith, Lester Archambault, just guys that they brought in. So the Falcons have a chance to replicate that season this season. Because if they can bring in a quarterback that can hold up his end of the deal and just manage the game, make the clutch plays, I think that's a win-win for everybody. And Kirk Cousins fit exactly what they did in 1997 when they brought in an older Chris Chandler who was a journeyman. Hell, after he left the Falcons and before he got to the Falcons, he was just a backup quarterback just going around the league. So you don't have to put too much hype into a quarterback just because he runs well, just because he sells tickets. They need a guy that can manage the game and put this team in a position to win. And Kirk Cousins does that for anybody that does not like that, man. Y'all gonna have to wake up. I'm just telling y'all. Then I know about the 40 million, like Burrow said, and Chris said before.
Mm-hmm.
You get most of that in the signing bonus. You sign to a 4-year deal. The last 2 years are void years, so that pay off the back end of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
So 25 million for a Kirk Cousins, who's possibly a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You got to take that every day, twice on Sundays. So y'all just got to wake up, man. It's all about the logo. It's all about winning. And if Kirk Cousins gets that chance to win that first Super Bowl, hell, I'm taking that every day. So just trust me. Terry Fontenot is a salary cap master, so he knows exactly what he's getting into if they make this deal. All y'all got to do is process. And like I told y'all, be patient. Be patient. I know y'all tired after all these years, but you got to be patient. Because at the end of the day, when that first domino dropped at the quarterback position, we're going to know exactly which way they're going to go, whether it's free agency or the draft. So trust me, just be patient. It's going to pay off in the end.
It'll definitely pay off, man. And I know that there's a youth movement that's possible here in Atlanta. And I'm gonna chime in a little bit on that youth movement, and that's of course Justin Fields, who recently just turned 25 years of age, and of course his trajectory in the NFL has been kind of up and down. Coaching is a very important aspect, and I've mentioned this so many times, man. He was dealt a bad hand in Chicago with the coaching aspect. He had positional coaches, quarterback coaches to be specific, that really couldn't get the best out of him. In a situation now in Atlanta where Zach Robinson is, a quarterback whisperer, and the other, aforementioned so many, 18 coaches that the Falcons have brought in to get this quarterback position, right? If you bring a guy like Justin Fields in for the trade value, that's enticing because we saw what just happened with Mac Jones. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We could be parting now with a fourth or a fifth or a combination of both for Justin Fields. But that to me, acquiring him means the long game for me. And why do I say that? I think that Atlanta will be buying into his last season at Ohio State, right? If you guys go back and just do a little bit of research at Ohio State in 2020, which wasn't that long ago, Justin Fields was completing 70% of his passes, threw for 2,100 yards, 22 TDs, and I believe 8 INTs while rushing for 389 yards. He was a dual threat quarterback. Right now in the Zach Robinson system, you don't really need a dual threat. It's a plus if you're a dual threat quarterback. You're more asked to be, stand in the pocket and make the process reads. Justin was exhibiting that in Ohio State his last year. He goes to Chicago, of course, like I mentioned, not the right coaching. So he's been taken on this roller coaster of what needs to be made out of the real Justin Fields. There's a name within the Falcons organization that has ties to Justin Fields, and that's our passing game coordinator, Chandler Whitmore, who was a contributor on that Ohio State offensive scheme back in 2020, knows what Justin Fields is capable of. So even though with all this Kirk Cousins talk, and which is great talk, it's it's intriguing because Kirk Cousins is a vested veteran, has been productive and was still before the injury. I still low-key think it's going to be Justin Fields under center for the Falcons week 1 in September, man. And for those reasons mentioned. So I still feel though. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they go the Kirk Cousins route. I'm not going to be upset. All that I want is I want to acquire wins, man. I'm sick of being in the doghouse, man. 6-7 years, as JC pointed out, where we haven't been competitive, man. And like he mentioned, we have been low-key rebuilding. This is our 4th year in a row, finishing with the 8th overall pick. That's felt a rebuild in its own right. And now with free agency here, we can add on more to this team. We saw what we did last year with all the money that we had. I expect the Falcons to do the same thing this year. I don't really listen to the rumor of the Falcons being conservative or budget conscious or anything like that, man. I think they're going to open up that wallet again in year 2 of spending and really bring in everybody that, that's going to make an impact. We saw what Calais Campbell did last year. You brought up a name, Chris and Justin Simmons. We need a safety, so he could be that sign style of what we had last year with Calais Campbell. Justin Simmons could be that same thing for the secondary. So there's a lot of excitement, of course, right? And,
Right.
and
My
tie
thing
this
is
all in,
this.
man. We just have to brace ourselves and be supportive for our team, the Atlanta Falcons, man. So I'm with whatever direction the Falcons go, man. If you go the Kirk Cousins route, let's rock. If you go Justin Fields, you trade for him, let's rock. But we just got to keep it. We have to get it right, and we have to do right by this organization and the fan base, man.
Man, my thing is this too. Regardless of the quarterback, whether if it's a young guy, old guy, whoever guy, it's like you're going to have to fit the offense around his skill sets. You know, regardless, you're going to have to fit it around his skill set. Whether if it's Kirk Cousins, who is somebody who does fit the offensive style, which is also another pro, but you also have like 19 quarterback coaches. Why you have so many quarterback coaches? It's not for a veteran. You know, it couldn't be for a veteran. Why we have so many coaches, especially if you bring in the Kirk Cousins, you don't need that many coaches for a Kirk Cousins. You know,
Well,
you
think
still
about
have
it. They still could bring in a young quarterback if they go Dallas Turner at number 8. You can still bring in a young quarterback.
indeed.
So
That's my point.
that's
the point that I'm
true
getting
to a certain
You got
extent. Yeah,
so
that's true to a
many
certain extent.
quarterbacks. Yeah, you got so many quarterback coaches that that's what I'm leaning towards, as far as like it may be a Justin Fields type. You know, so like that may be intriguing to them because they can bring him in, fit the offense to his style, make him as successful as they possibly could be if they wanted to go that route. Kirk Cousins, he doesn't need that much polishing. He already has worked in this type of offense, and I believe he has the sense, and he also has the field presence to be able to get this like that. And you just fit it to his skill set, and you also fit the offense around keeping him healthy, him upright. You don't want to see him on the ground too much this year. You really don't. And because you're making a good point in the comments about will he be healthy? How healthy will he be come week 1? I mean, we don't know. We see him, making strides, but we don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to be. Kirk Cousins, honestly, is probably the best option overall if you're talking about win now, but we just know he's not the long-term solution. So you go get Kirk Cousins, like JC said, like Smitty said, and Berto, like we've all said. You can still go in the draft and go get another quarterback. Honestly, if Kirk Cousins come in, I see us moving back. That would be my option. Trade back if you bring in a veteran quarterback. And then outside of that, if you go get Justin Fields, still go try to get you one of these top names, because if it doesn't work out for you, you can move on from Fields and continue anew.
I wanted to talk about first. I think Zach Robinson, kind of with this being his first year calling plays, it's kind of smart to get Kirk, because that's like a coach on the field, and that can assist the young coordinator because they're familiar with the same system. So, like, we don't really have veteran leadership on our offense. I think like the longest tenured guy is Jake Matthews, but as far as skill position guys, like we're looking at Drake London to be the captain of the wide receiver room. He's in his third year upcoming
Third year.
Now this is 4th, 5th year guy tight end. Bijan and Tyler Algier are young. We don't have many veterans on our offense, so you kind of need somebody, like I said, to command that offense. And I'm not opposed to Fields, but I don't think his skin color or his skill set or the way he plays that he can run is just a reason to want him. And I think
and the fact that he's from here, none of those.
I don't care if he was from Maine or Massachusetts.
Right.
It doesn't matter where he's from. And people kind of try to. I think it's a nostalgia thing because everybody wants Michael Vick, and so they're gonna want the quarterback that reminds them of that play style. And many fans didn't appreciate that. So they're not going to want the quarterback that reminds them of that play style. But if you get Fields, you're not going to hit the ground running with Fields because you have to get him in here and mold him. He needs a whole new remodel.
He's a project.
Yeah, he needs a whole new remodel. Get Kurt, you can get on the ground running because he's already familiar with the system and he knows what he's doing. Like you say, he's a veteran. He doesn't need much coaching. And I think if Zach Robinson was smart, I don't think he should just automatically, or we should have just automatically assumed he's bringing over the Rams system just because he came from LA. I think if he was a good offensive coordinator, he would fit the system around what he has and not implement his system on the players that are here. And I think Arthur Smith, I hate to bring up that name, but I think he kind of That's why he fell victim, because he wanted to force that Tennessee system in here,
Facts.
and he didn't really try to use the players out. But that's Pittsburgh's problem.
Yeah.
So
That's Pittsburgh's problem now. You damn right.
I'm not
Right. That's why it is in Pittsburgh now.
I just think looking at the contract and trying to be cheap about it. We've been trying to be cheap about it the past 2 years, and look what this got us. So if Kirk Cousins wants $40 million guaranteed a year, well, guess what? Arthur Blank needs to pull out that checkbook, because I know he got it.
Hey, like I
That's
said,
facts.
he's definitely
That's
Kirk
facts,
Cousins is the best option.
But what if, and I had a question on the stream, what if the Bears kept Justin Fields for another year? Then
Yeah, I
what?
think
Then
you
what?
just said that.
Well, give us
Well,
Then what?
How about,
pick.
see, that's the thing about it. So now I'm still not going to give them what they want for the number one pick. I'm not going to give anything favorable to the Chicago Bears. But I was saying before, man, I'm hoping that they get stalled out. I'm hoping that they get stalled out all the way and to the point to where they have to make a decision to either just give Justin Fields away for a bottle of water, so because they still want to get Caleb, or it prevents them from getting Caleb, and it turns around this whole draft. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. I'm hoping that your asking price is too high, or no one just pays it, and now you have a decision to make. What you going to do with this quarterback? What are you going to do with them? Or what are you going to do with this draft pick? Who you
Bro,
going
I
to draft?
think it's safe to say, man, the Bears run the draft again like they did last
They
year,
do.
man. Control
Like
it.
we was talking
They're
about that.
controlling it, yeah, and they're controlling the top of this draft again, right? They're probably going to ask for a king's ransom again, and some
And I'm
teams
not
might be
giving it.
desperate to go ahead and move up to number one. I've seen reports where they link the Falcons to the number one overall pick. I don't think you make that sort of bold choice to go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry if there are Caleb Williams fans out there. He's good, but he's not. I'm not going to be ballsy enough as an organization to put all my eggs in one basket for Caleb. I'm just not. If it's not a Julio like we did years ago, jumped up 20 spots to get a guy like that is generational. I just don't see that generational trait in Caleb Williams, and that's just my opinion, man. I've looked a lot of his tape. This guy he depends on his legs too much, more so than just sitting back in that pocket and observing the field. I know a lot of it goes to the offensive line that he had at USC. I get that, but he depends too much on his God-given ability rather than just the smarts that it takes to sit back there and carve up defenses. So I wouldn't, if the Falcons are going to go up to get Caleb Williams, I might frown upon that, man. But I just don't
going up to get Jaden Daniels. I'm only going up to get Jalen Daniels.
Jaden Daniels
only going up to get Jaden Daniels.
And Daniels coming out of LSU and all the great things that he did, man. 72% of his passes were completed, man. That's elite, man. In the college ranks, that's elite in the NFL.
That's impressive
as well. That's very impressive. Yep, I mean, it does help that you got a Malik Neighbors on the outside to throw to and things like that. But I mean, hell, he's coming into a Falcons offense that already features some horses, at certain spots with Drake London, and you got a healthy Kyle Pitts now, finally healthy Kyle Pitts. Bijan coming out of the backfield, and if Zach Robinson's going to utilize him like they utilize Kerwin Williams with the Rams, Bijan could be that much more of a threat in year two. So it's just all about adding just another piece or two on that offense. But fellas, man, this has been great collaboration thus far today. But I just want to take a quick moment just to thank JC and ATL AG for popping in, man. It's been a while, man. So we definitely enjoy you guys' presence on the platform, man. For everybody that's in the chat, man, these two gentlemen down here are the Four Quarters podcast on YouTube, man. So definitely, man, go onto their platform and hit them with the subscription, man. The guys, the way you see them here talking is the same way that they deliver on their own panel and their own show. So, man, shout out to you, both of you gentlemen. But, Smitty, anything more that you want to add on, man? We're coming up on that 1 hour mark. Is there anything you guys want to talk about that you feel as though hasn't been put a lot of light to or anything like that? Anything you guys want to discuss before we head out?
I just want to give I like scenarios, so I just want to give scenarios. Kirk Cousins comes in, right? Okay, so Falcons stay at 8. would you guys, any of you guys, be mad if one of those top offensive tackles slides and the Falcons end up drafting one of those guys?
I already knew where you was going. That's why I'm shaking my head.
I already knew you knew. I wouldn't
be mad if they go Malik Neighbors or Roma Dunze either. No, I wouldn't be.
Pause. And that's something that this Falcon fan base has to accept. The possibility of the Falcons still acquiring another playmaker. It's frowned upon because Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Drake London in respected years.
Right.
But you can't pass up on a Malik Neighbors. You know, if he's available at 8. Or Marvin, Maserati Marvin. I know we don't expect him to drop in any way, shape, or form. But, Smitty, you and I talked about this at the beginning, man. If we go and get Justin Fields, Atlanta could get real ballsy and trade up to number 4 with Arizona to grab a Marvin Harrison and really shut down this offensive onslaught. It wouldn't
hurt Arizona either because they're still going to get a receiver most likely in Neighbors or a Doomsday. So it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt either one of them. And I'll still take either one of those names that I just said. I'll take Rome today. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, because he's going to be a dog, I believe, as well too. I believe he's going to kill the slot and on the outside. So yeah, man, I'll take either one of those guys because I mean, talking about Rome, he did boost his stock. I believe he is the definite 100% number 3 receiver in this draft now behind Marvin and Neighbors. So, man, I wouldn't mind that guy either. So it's just another scenario like Justin Fields or Kirk Cousins. We could also see another offensive skill player here or an offensive tackle because Jakes Matthews, long in the tooth. He's starting to get beat a little bit more. We're seeing it on film. We're seeing it on Sundays. So that can be another thing you can do too if you bring in Kirk Cousins to help kind of like ease the mind of some people who be like, all right, man, what about his legs? Well, okay, get him some protection then. Get him some protection.
Yeah, and to be honest, I agree with everything you said, and this is why if they bring in Kirk Cousins, they can make these kind of moves because you got your veteran quarterback to lead the team. You just need one more playmaker at wide receiver, and like I've told y'all. We put up only 19 points a game last year. What did we make the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl, and we had to face Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid? To beat them, you're going to have to put up points. We can play defense to keep up with them, but at the end of the day, it's about scoring points. If you average 27 to 30 points a game with the type of defense that the Falcons had, top 10 defense last year, that equates to probably a Super Bowl run. Let's keep it real. So I see people saying, you know, why we got to go get another offensive player. That's what the game is about. It switched to an offensive game. And I know we got superstars on defense. I know that. But at the end of the day, you got to put up points. So this is another reason why Kirk Cousins makes sense.
We don't even have any receivers.
We don't even have any receivers. That's what I'm saying, man. You can trade, or you can also trade back. That's another scenario too. Like I would love, like honestly, like I said before, if we get a Kirk Cousins, Justin Fields, or something like that, I'm willing to trade back. I'm more willing to trade back if we get Cousins over Fields because I'm kind of want to stay around in that top 10 area if Fields comes. But if we get a Kirk Cousins, I want to surround, as many skillful players around him, possibly trade back, get more picks, get more players. Because it's a deep draft, man. We could possibly get 2 wide receivers in this draft and not have to worry about trading for a Johnson. We can possibly go get a wide receiver and a corner. It's a deep corner draft, and this guy's out there like the corner from Michigan that's going to be out there. You got Quinyon Mitchell out there. You got Arnold out there. Man, it's a deep cornerback draft, And I'm just naming just a few. It's more guys that stood out. Guys who are sleepers, maybe the guy from Rutgers, Max from Rutgers. You also got Terry, Trayvon Jackson, I believe, from Oregon. I think I said his first name wrong, but still, him from Oregon. It's deep, y'all. It's deep. I can keep on naming people, but it's deep. So
I would feel comfortable trading back, but the Falcons don't really ever show that hand with them trading back to acquire more picks. We've had several chances to do that. More recently, 2021, the whole Kyle Pitts situation at 4, Atlanta could have traded back and grabbed a Rashawn Slater or Patrick Surtain if
It was
if they were
impossible,
conscious
bro.
enough. So
It was impossible at that time, bro. Everybody was shook because of the Julio thing. They were
everybody
shook
was shook because of the Julio thing, but there was whispers that there was teams wanting Kyle Pitts at that 4 spot, and Atlanta really wasn't entertaining. That was their guy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, at this point, man, who knows, man? It's anybody's game. But we are, like I mentioned at the top of the stream, man, 24 hours away from the legal tampering period to open up. A lot of these names are gonna sign on the dotted line and go from there. And also, just another thing, all deals are made official Wednesday at 3:59 in the afternoon. So, man, we'll have to wait and see, man. But before we part, man, JC, ATL, let the folks know where they can find you, man. Introduce yourselves again to this Falcons community, man, please.
All right, everybody, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at 4 Quarters Sports Podcast. You can follow me at Mr._ATLAG. Coming at y'all exclusive with all exclusive Falcons content. We will be at the draft. After the free agency period is winding up, we'll start talking draft party and all the names that we expect to see come off the board for the Falcons. And one thing I did want to say though is that for the Falcons to have a good offseason, we have to solidify our captain in free agency. It's going to make the draft that much more easy.
Yeah. Agreed.
I agree. I'm gonna drop all the pages in the description. I ain't gonna lie, I don't be knowing all the pages, the Instagram, Twitter, and all that. But yeah, y'all keep subscribing to Berto, A1, and Smitty. Make sure y'all come subscribe.
Much respect, guys.
Have a good off season. I hope we finally can get this over with. I know the fan base is gonna be divided about any move we make, but I mean, as long as we win, everything will be okay. So let's just cheers to a winning season, hopefully.
Oh yeah, definitely gonna be a winning season.
No
We're gonna win, y'all.
But definitely, guys, thank you so much, man, for dropping with us on this Sunday, man. And we look forward to collaborating more with you guys down the line. Hopefully, we can get something in the works before the draft or something like that. We come up with a topic and invite y'all guys. And if you guys would like us to go on your stream, we'd be more than
sure
as well, man.
Sure.
No doubt.
Appreciate
But
sure.
I'm gonna answer this question right quick from Mike.
All right, bro. Sure.
He said he could see the Falcons doing this in free agency in the draft. Go get Justin Fields, Gabe Davis, Justin Simmons, Daniel Hunter in free agency and draft Dallas Turner and Worthy in the second.
Major haul.
I'm gonna keep it.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I actually like all these moves, but if we get Justin Fields, we could get at least 2 key free agents. Daniel Hunter and Justin Simmons will be at the top of my list, but we would not have that number 1 pick because I'm just telling y'all, and I'm gonna stick to what I said. If we can go get a Justin Simmons and a Daniel Hunter, I'm still going to get Marvin Harris Jr. or Malik Neighbors. Put up points, have a great defense, recipe for a Super Bowl. So
I'm going to go get one of the corners in the second.
Right. So
like I said, maybe a Max Milton. I'll take him.
Yeah. If we go Justin Fields, trust me, we only getting 1 key free agent, and we're gonna have to build through the draft. So I just think, to be honest, I'm Kirk Cousins a bust because I see we can make it fun. Like Chris said, and I've said before, you got to think about Zach Robinson in this whole scenario as well. You got a veteran quarterback to help you adjust and transition to being an offensive coordinator and calling plays and helping the quarterbacks and the wide receivers in the film room. You just got to look at all of that. It's just not about money. It's just all about structure. And as I've told y'all, Kirk Cousins is the best fit, and he also helps with the structure of the offense and the way they're going to run the offense. So you just got to look deeper. So Mozzie, I would love all those moves, but I don't think it would be realistic if we got a Justin Fields.
Dang, man. See, I just thought about something else, and I know we're trying to get off here, y'all, but Justin Fields, Does that equal playoff or bust? Kirk Cousins, does that equal playoff or bust or Super Bowl or bust? Rookie quarterback. What does that equal?
I think with Kirk Cousins, it's Super Bowl or bust. Because
Right.
he could be the missing piece, and he's the veteran. He's been around, 12, 13 years?
Right.
It's got to be Super Bowl or bust, especially when you're paying that kind of money, that premium money. So, Super Bowl or bust.
I'm glad you said that. That's why I set it up just like that.
Yeah, damn, dog.
I agree with that. And I don't see why, if I had two choices of getting a quarterback that's I think is Super Bowl or bust, or getting a quarterback that I don't even think is playoff or bust, why even bother getting the other one? Because isn't the goal to make the Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl? So feels is that caliber. I mean, you're probably gonna go farther in the season with Kirk Cousins. So
that's a fact, man.
Just wanted to set it up, guys. I just wanted to set it up. I'm glad y'all knocked it down.
Oh, man.
Ain't nobody answered that last one though. What does a rookie quarterback equal?
That ain't playoffs or bust for me.
No, man.
Yeah, playoff still. Yeah. With the team you put together, man, is a playoff roster.
It's a playoff.
I'm telling y'all, if we had Kirk Cousins last year, we're a playoff team.
100%.
We had me and we're a playoff team.
Hey, you probably would have, JC. I ain't gonna tell you that.
I could have did what they were doing. Just chuck it up.
Hey, there we go. All I'm saying is, if I seen all my receivers in the same area, I'm running out the back door and I'm going the other way. I'm gonna figure it out from there because he ain't setting me up right.
Right.
But we good?
Oh,
y'all
good, man. Hey,
all right, Chris, let them know where they can find you, fam.
Oh man, you already know. A1 Forever Sports, the show that's cooler and fly too on YouTube. Be generational because it's always time to be, and don't worry about selling for less because you can always have more with the vision. TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. A1 Forever. You Chris Tipmore, man. Come holler at me, man.
That's facts. But y'all know where to find me, man. Smitty Sports Machine. Y'all know I'm gonna be busy this week, so y'all just better be waiting every time something happens.
Oh yeah.
I've already started dropping trades, and there have been 3 significant trades over the last couple of days. So expect more news to come from the Atlanta Falcons this week as far as free agency and what they're going to do in the draft. This is probably, like I said, this week is probably going to determine which route we take, whether it's Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, or a rookie quarterback. So y'all stay tuned, man, because I think we're in for a ride this year. I know I said that last year, but this year, with a win now team, I think it's going to get super crazy before the draft comes. So we'll see, man. But again, find me on Fatboy Slim _21. You see it on the screen. That's my Twitter handle. I'm always on Twitter blowing things up. So come catch me on that. But again, Berto, you know what time it is, man. Take us on now.
Yes, sir, man. So without further ado, thank you to everybody that just jumped in and gave us their unfiltered thoughts. And to the clown that was over here and got booted out, man, that goes for everybody, man. Just when you come, all we ask is for respect, man. That's it. That's all it is, man. It's reciprocated, man. We don't, we're not a platform that bashes anybody. We're not a platform that, gets ignorant with our viewers or anything like that, man. We just like good old conversations. But when you start off and with that energy and being disrespectful, I'll call you out, and I'm sure anybody else on this panel would have as well, man. But enough about that, man. And let's celebrate everybody that's been in the chat, keeping it cordial and 100 like always. Thank you to everybody that's been in here from the beginning. We got this up to 380 views, man. We appreciate that so much. Like always, man. Without y'all, there is no crew. So again, thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday. This is your boy Berto, your host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show. That's the platform on YouTube. You can also find me on Bleacher Report on the Berto 95 North. Man, that's another platform I use to go ahead and push this Falcons content. I'll be on there in late March. I got to get my date, but I'll be back on and just promoting some more of some more Falcons content. You can find me on Twitter under RI Falcons. That's another platform I choose to chop it up with these Falcon faithfuls in this great Falcons community. But again, we'll give you your Sunday back. Thank you so much again for joining us. Thank you to you two gentlemen, AG and JC, for popping through Four Quarters Podcast, man. And we'll catch you guys soon. Maybe sooner than you think. We might be back on tonight.
Oh
Who knows?
yeah, no doubt.
Never know.
We might have some breaking news in store, man. But until then, man, enjoy y'all Sunday with your loved ones, man. Peace.